Chapter 4508. Suyu nodded. Yes, it's Bella. But isn't she in a vegetative state? Zhu Lingling was surprised. Qin Chu explained, it's because of this that we ignored her. Suyu and I thought Jixin was. Then we almost fell into her trap. Luckily, we came in time. Now that she's dead, does that mean we're getting closer to success? Qin Ning asked. Qin Chu nodded. Yes, as long as we kill the fourth dream creator. Where's the fourth one? Let's go find him. Tang Chuan was also an impatient person. He put his arm around Qin Ning's shoulder and suggested. Suyu glanced at Qin Chu, not knowing how to answer. Qin Chu picked up his glass and took a sip of water gracefully. Then he looked around at everyone, including Zhu Lingling, who had just sat down. There's no need to look for him, because the fourth dream creator is among us. After Qin Chu said this, the entire place went into an uproar. Suyu was also slightly stunned. He knew that Qin Chu had never played by the rules, so it was really hard to figure out why he said it so bluntly. Although he still couldn't tell who was the most suspicious. However, he was sure that Huamin, Jixin, and Auntie Yang upstairs could be ruled out. Suyu, Qin Chu, and the professor downstairs were also out of suspicion. They were safe. The only ones left were Gao Ran, Lingling, Xiaowei, Wei Liao, Tang Chuan, Qin Ning, Lu Yen, Xiao Fei, Rick, and Cici. And had been with Suyu all this time, so he was definitely harmless. At this moment, Suyu was really glad that An was with him. Otherwise, it would be awkward if everyone else formed a couple while he was the only one who was alone. Brother, is what you said true? How could it be among us? Qin Ning looked at Qin Chu in shock and disbelief. The fourth dream creator is indeed among us. This was what the third dream creator said before he died, Qin Chu explained. Qin Chu, you're too decisive. How can we believe the words of the third dream creator? Maybe she's deliberately misleading us, sowing discord, and making us fight among ourselves. Zhu Lingling's voice was loud, so everyone heard her clearly. Qin Chu glanced at Rick. Rick was one of Qin Chu's best friends. Qin Chu knew Rick's personality better than anyone else. Ever since they moved in together, Qin Chu hadn't talked much with Rick. Of course, it was not because he did not believe Rick, but because he did not know how to tell Rick that his child with Cici was also an illusion. In the real world, Cici's due date was not here yet. She was only a few days away from Huamin. Since Qin Chu said so, there must be a reason. I believe him. Rick, who had been silent all this while, spoke. Cici sat beside Rick with the baby in her arms, not saying a word. He believed in Qin Chu unconditionally. At the same time, Qin Chu also believed in Rick. However, Qin Chu couldn't tell Suyu that because he was close to Rick, he didn't suspect him. Therefore, Rick was still on the list of suspects like everyone else. However, Qin Chu had already eliminated Rick from the list. Does that mean that everyone here is a suspect? Jiang Xiaowei looked at Suyu and then at Qin Chu. Daddy, are the two of us also under suspicion? Little Bean looked at her daddy with grievance. Chapter 4509. Suyu nodded. That's right, you two too. But don't be sad. We found the fourth dream creator so that everyone can escape from this godforsaken place, so don't panic. If anyone should panic, it should be the fourth dream creator. After all, its identity is about to be exposed. Qin Chu didn't answer, but Suyu answered first. Perhaps he understood how Qin Chu, as a father, couldn't face his child. Even though he knew that the twins weren't real and could be made up, they could also be dream creators. What about Mian? Jiang Xiaowei asked. Mian has been ruled out. Qin Chu and I have already confirmed it. When we were fighting the third dream creator, Auntie Yang and Jixin were also ruled out. So, we have temporarily isolated the three of them. So you're saying that we're eating this hot pot just to find the fourth dream creator? After Jiang Xiaowei said this, everyone understood what Qin Chu and Suyu meant. Brother-in-law, just tell us now. How many of them have been ruled out? After we pick out those who have been ruled out, the rest will stand in a row and we'll think of a way to confirm it. Tang Chuan was impatient. When he heard that the dream creator was among them, he couldn't eat anymore. He was no longer in the mood to eat hot pot. Su Yu looked at Qin Chu, then he took the initiative to speak. Among the people sitting here, only the professor can be ruled out. As for the reason, I'll explain it to everyone. The final confrontation between the four dream creators is a mysterious treasure called the Red Demon in the professor's hands. Although we don't know what it is, and I don't want to know what it is, it must be very important. But this thing must be very important. Otherwise, they wouldn't have spent so much effort to weave such a big nightmare. So the professor must be real. Uncle Lu, please come out. After Su Yu finished speaking, everyone looked at the professor. The professor stood up slightly, with no expression on his face. Qin Chu added, "When we killed the first dream creator, the woman who looked like Dr. Linya, my dad was a key figure. So, based on this point, we can rule him out." The professor slowly walked out and separated himself from everyone. Lu Yen teased him with a smile. "Dad? You're good? You're respected everywhere you go. Even if you're playing the guessing game, you're the first to escape." Yen, stop fooling around. We're getting down to business. Xiao Fei reminded Lu Yen seriously. Now was not the time to joke. Brother, how should we confirm it? Qi Ning could not help but ask. Yeah, say something. Hurry up. Find it so we can continue eating hot pot, Tang Chuan said. Wei Liao chuckled. You're so careless. You're still thinking about eating hot pot at a time like this. If the identity of the fourth dream creator is exposed, it'll probably be another life and death battle. On the bright side, if we work together to kill the dream creator, we'll all leave this lousy place and return to the real world. We can eat whatever we want. No. You don't understand. I like the feeling of eating hot pot in my dreams. Tang Chuan was amused. Then you're really a bastard. Wei Liao mocked Tang Chuan with a smile. Qin Chu looked around at everyone and said again, there is indeed a way. Su Yu, Mian and I all agree. It's said that dream creators have low body temperatures, so their hands and feet are cold. So, please reach out your hands. I'll get Su Yu to touch them one by one, to check the temperature of your palms. Chapter 45:10. What's the meaning of this? Are you asking us to take her temperature? Tang Chuan teased. No need. Everyone, reach out your hands and we'll check, Su Yu said. That's a good idea. Come on, touch mine first. Gao Ran smiled and was the first to reach out his hand. Su Yu glanced at Qin Chu, then took the initiative to touch Gao Ran's palm. It was the original temperature of a human body. Handsome Su, I want it too. Pudding raised her hand for Su Yu to check. Su Yu glanced at Pudding and walked towards her. Qin Chu, on the other hand, scanned everyone's micro-expressions, trying to find any useful information, but at that moment, the scene suddenly changed. The dining room at South Hill Manor suddenly turned into a dilapidated ship, then, it floated on the surface of the sea in the middle of the night. The scary thing was that it was stormy weather, everyone was swaying on the ship, and the situation was very dangerous. At this moment, Huamin, Jixin, and Yang Merong were nowhere to be seen. Qin Chu's first reaction was that the dream creator in the dining room had secretly tampered with it. Huamin and the others weren't in the dining room, so they weren't pulled into the illusion she created. What's going on? Where's my hot pot? Tang Chuan was dumbfounded. He didn't forget to hug Qin Ning tightly, afraid that something would happen to his delicate wife. Wei Liao and Gao Ran were also hugging their children tightly. Qin Chu glanced at the twins. They were hugging each other and squatting in a corner. Qin Chu, what should we do now? Su Yu rushed up and grabbed Qin Chu's shoulder. The dream creator must not want us to use our body temperature to determine its true identity. That's why they came up with this plan. Where did you check just now? Qin Chu asked Su Yu. It's Pudding's turn, Su Yu said. Qin Chu glanced at Pudding in the corner with a complicated expression. He really didn't want to suspect his daughter, but coincidentally, when it was time to check on Pudding, the dream creator secretly made a move. Because the movements were too fast, he didn't see clearly who was the one who formed the seal. Are you suspecting Pudding? Su Yu looked into Qin Chu's eyes and guessed in a low voice. What about you? Qin Chu asked Su Yu. I suspect Zhu Lingling. Her reaction just now was obviously bigger than the others. So you said, Qin Chu lowered his voice and whispered into Su Yu's ear. After learning my lesson from Bella and Jixin, I feel that although Zhu Lingling looks the most suspicious on the surface, the dream creator must have secretly done something to mislead us into thinking that it was Zhu Lingling. What you mean is, Su Yu was confused. What I mean is, let's play a big game this time. Su, who do you think performed the best among these people? Who doesn't look like a dream creator? Su Yu was about to speak, however he heard the professor's old voice. Chu, you come here. Qin Chu and Su Yu both turned around and ran towards the professor. What's wrong? Qin Chu looked anxious. Yen and Fei are gone. The professor finished speaking. Su Yu and Qin Chu immediately looked around. They could see the ship at a glance, but Lu Yen and Xiao Fei had disappeared. They didn't come in, or? Qin Chu asked the professor. They were just by my side, but now they're gone. It happened in an instant. The professor also felt that something was strange. Chapter 45:11. Just as everyone was about to say something, they suddenly heard banging sounds from below the boat. Then, Qin Chu followed the sound and found a hidden wooden door. He squatted down and lifted the wooden door. Everyone was stunned by the scene below. Lu Yen fired 2 shots at Xiao Fei with her pistol. Su Yu was about to jump down and attack Lu Yen. After all, he thought Lu Yen was a dream creator. However, Qin Chu stopped him. Go, she's the 4th dream creator. Su Yu was afraid that Qin Chu didn't understand, so he explained anxiously. Su Yu, look. She pointed at the blood behind Xiao Fei. Qin Chu pointed at Su Yu. It was the red liquid that would only appear after a dream creator died. Su Yu was stunned speechless. He didn't expect this. So, Xiao Fei was the dream creator? The dream creator was severely injured, so the illusion slowly disappeared. Therefore, everyone instantly returned to the dining room of South Hill Manor from the boat. Xiao Fei lay on the ground, his face pale. He looked up at Lu Yen, but his voice was different. When did you find out? Lu Yen looked up and sighed slightly. About 24 hours ago. Then why did you only do it now? He asked. You look like the man I love the most, so I really couldn't bear to do it. This is also why you're so smart. Lu Yen said. Did I make any mistakes? Actually, he was already very careful around Lu Yen. After all, he knew that Lu Yen was very smart. However, he didn't expect that he would accidentally expose his flaws. Otherwise, he would have secretly formed a seal and created a tsunami in his dream. However, before he could form the seal, Lu Yen stabbed him in the back. Then, Lu Yen shot him 2 more times from the secret chamber on the boat. Lu Yan's expression was complicated. Perhaps no one knew how she felt when she shot the man she loved. Of course, her rationality told her that this person wasn't Xiao Fei. It was just a dream creator with the same face as Xiao Fei. She also knew that if she didn't act ruthlessly, everyone would die. My Xiao Fei is a famous little heater. I often hug him to sleep, so I'm very familiar with his body temperature. Although my Xiao Fei is amazing, he's definitely not a magician. When you proposed those roses, I asked you where you got them. Do you remember how you answered? Lu Yen looked at the last dream creator calmly. I said I borrowed it from my sister's house. He answered. Lu Yen smiled. Maybe you don't know, but my sister doesn't raise roses because there are too many thorns. She doesn't want to hurt Pudding and Little Bean. So at that time, I thought, what kind of person can make roses out of a house that doesn't have roses? Perhaps only dream creators can do this? Then why didn't you expose me then? Because I wasn't sure. I was afraid that I would wrongly accuse you. After all, in the dream, if you killed the real person, you would be completely dead. I didn't want to kill the man I loved the most because of my thoughts. Lu Yen is indeed very smart. Serves you right for not being wiped out. Such a group of people, it's not a waste for our boss to weave a nightmare for you. The man slowly revealed his true face, and his face that looked exactly like Xiao Fei's faded. It turned out that this was also a good-looking man. He looked young, but no one knew him. He should be from Doomsday Reaper, Qin Chu said. Brother-in-law, the 4th dream creator is dead. Should we go back to the real world? Lu Yan turned around and asked Qin Chu. At this moment, before Qin Chu could reply, the ground began to shake, as if there was a magnitude 8 earthquake. Everyone was dizzy from the shaking. Qin Chu subconsciously looked at Suyu, to look for Suyu. Chapter 45:12. With the death of the fourth dream creator, the dream world began to collapse. Some people said that the fourth dream creator died too easily, but that was not the case. Lu Yan had suspected him for a long time and had been observing him for the past few days. If Lu Yan hadn't acted quickly, he would have killed everyone by the time Qin Chu and Suyu discovered his true identity. Therefore, it wasn't easy. It could only be said that Lu Yan was too powerful. The fourth dream creator took his last breath, and the dream world began to collapse. To dream creators, they were the ones manipulating others. Perhaps in their lives, no one had been able to escape from the nightmares so quickly. Of course, all of this was thanks to Suyu. He was the one who brought such important news after entering the dream for the second time. Huamin, Jixin, and their mother rushed over to reunite with everyone. At this moment, Qin Chu discovered a serious problem. Everyone's bodies began to disappear, starting from the soles of their feet, and then to their calves. However, Suyu still did not react at all. Lord Su, why are you different from us? Wei Liao was next to Suyu. When he noticed something, he shouted at Suyu. Suyu didn't say anything and just licked his lips. Lord Su, say something. What's going on? Tang Chuan also had a bad feeling. Although he couldn't put his finger on it, he felt that something was wrong with Suyu. Huamin and Qin Chu looked at Suyu. Huamin wanted to run over to Suyu and grab his collar. Then he asked, Suyu, what's wrong with you? What trick are you playing now? However, just as Huamin was about to leave, he realized that his legs had disappeared. Everyone was disappearing. This was a sign that they were about to leave this place. No one was afraid. But why was Suyu different from everyone else? Boss, what's wrong with you? Why are you different from us? Say something, and kept shaking Suyu's arm desperately. But he refused to say a single word. He looked around and scanned the familiar faces one by one. Finally, he smiled and said, In this life I, Suyu, have known everyone. I'm already satisfied. What do you mean by that? Suyu, speak clearly. What the fuck do you mean? Huamin would never swear. He would only swear when he lost his rationality. At this moment, in front of so many people, Huamin couldn't suppress the fear in his heart and cursed at Suyu. Suyu looked at Huamin and opened his mouth, wanting to say something. However, he didn't say it out loud. Then he looked at Qin Chu and said, Take good care of this silly woman and give birth to Qin Guogua. At this moment, everyone had disappeared. Huamin wanted to say something, but his vision went black. He completely lost consciousness. She vaguely remembered the last time she saw Suyu before leaving the incubus. Just like that, Suyu stood a little far away from everyone. He was wearing his favorite white Versace short-sleeved shirt and coffee-colored casual pants. He was like a lonely teenager. In his eyes, there was reluctance, tears, and many things that he didn't say. In the end, Qin Chu didn't ask Suyu because he knew that Suyu had been hiding something from them. In the past, if Suyu didn't say anything, he wouldn't have known. Now, he didn't need Suyu to tell him. He had already guessed it. The dream creator was dead, the incubus was broken, and everyone went back, but Suyu stayed. Chapter 45:13. When Huamin woke up again, she saw the familiar ceiling. She slowly opened her eyes and reached out to block her vision, afraid that the strong light would hurt her. Mian, you're awake? It seemed that Qin Chu had woken up before her. Huamin seemed to have thought of something and suddenly stood up. Honey, where's Suyu? Where's Suyu? Qin Chu didn't say anything. Honey, I'm asking you. Say something. Where's Suyu? Ask him to come see me. Me, calm down and listen to me. I don't want to listen to you. I just want to see Suyu now. Go and ask him to come here. I want to see him right now. Huamin rarely lost her mind like this. She covered her head with her hands and shook her messy long hair. She refused to listen to anything Qin Chu said to her. No matter what Qin Chu said, she only repeated one sentence. I want to see Suyu. I want Suyu to come see me immediately. In the end, Qin Chu decided to tell her the truth. Mian, Suyu didn't come back. Huamin's body trembled. Where did he go? He didn't come back? Did he travel abroad? Or was he afraid that I'd scold him, so he went into hiding? Or did he go to a meeting with Lord Su? Did he go to the army to see his old comrade? Mian, you know very well. Don't lie to yourself. Suyu is in the dream. He didn't come back with us. I don't believe it. I'm going to find Suyu now. Huamin turned over and almost fell to the ground because of her trembling legs. Fortunately, Qin Chu was quick to react and supported Huamin. To be precise, it was Huamin with a big belly. They had finally returned to the real world, to the correct time. Huamin hadn't given birth yet because she wasn't due yet. In the butler's eyes, they had only slept for one night after coming back. Honey, please take me to Suyu. I'm begging you. Huamin closed his eyes as tears streamed down his cheeks. Don't cry, Min. I'll take you to see him. Qin Chu wiped away Huamin's tears with heartache and then carefully carried her downstairs. Then, he placed it on the passenger seat of the black Bentley. Then, the couple went to Suyu's private villa. Everyone returned to the starting point, except for Yang Merong, who was still feeling unwell. Everyone woke up and immediately rushed to Suyu's house. When Qin Chu and Huamin arrived, everyone had already arrived. Other than the people who returned from the dream, there were two more people at Suyu's house. One was Suyu's mother, Auntie Su. The other was Suyu's master, Master Wu. However, no one was familiar with Master Wu. It was only when Suyu's mother introduced him that everyone knew about him. Mian is here, Jiang Shaowei said when she saw Huamin and Qin Chu. Everyone's eyes immediately turned to look at them. Where's Suyu? Huamin had nothing on his mind except for finding Suyu. Jiang Shaowei didn't say anything. She pointed at the man lying on the bed in Anne's bedroom. After Shaoan woke up, he found himself lying side by side on the same bed as his boss. He wanted to shake him awake, but Master Wu stopped him. Huamin broke free from Qin Chu's arms and quickly walked to the bed. Then, she looked at the man lying on the bed who hadn't woken up. She felt like dying. Su, you stop fooling around, although. This joke isn't funny. We're all worried about you. We agreed to come back together. Wake up, don't stay in bed. Huamin sat on Suyu's bed with a gentleness she had never shown before. Then, she reached out and gently tapped Suyu's forehead with her finger. It was like a little girl naughtily waking up her boyfriend. However, Suyu still didn't react. Chapter 45:14. Seeing Huamian's reaction, everyone felt like crying again. Lady Su picked up her handkerchief, covered her nose, and started crying again, even though she had cried countless times in the past few days. With Huamin crying, no one could hold it in anymore. Tang Chuan was a man. In the past, he always felt that crying was too embarrassing, but now, he couldn't care less. Wei Liao was more reserved, but he turned his head and wiped his tears silently. You're Suyu's master, Master Wu, right? Qin Chu was still rational. He endured the pain and walked over to Master Wu. Master Wu nodded. His face was also haggard. Master Wu, I've heard Suyu mention you many times in my dreams. Can you tell me why Suyu hasn't woken up? When will he wake up? Master Wu glanced at Qin Chu and then at Huamin. Then he slowly said, Suyu came back by accident for the first time and realized that something was wrong. Then he found me through a friend. I had some fate with this kid, so I helped him solve a lot of problems and told him about the incubus. Later, when he heard that you guys were in danger inside, he begged me to enter the dream a second time. The two of us found the hypnotist who lured you guys into the dream and sent him back. Only when he returns to the dream can he tell you guys that you're dreaming and have a chance of escaping. I thought that 4 dream creators would be enough for you guys to deal with, but I didn't expect you guys to be so capable and come out so quickly. What price will Suyu pay for entering the dream a second time? Qin Chu saw that Master Wu didn't get to the point even after saying so much, so he hit the nail on the head. Master Wu was silent for a moment. Then, he looked around at everyone's faces and continued, those who enter the dream a second time will be trapped in the dream forever. After Master Wu said this, everyone broke down. Xiaoan's cries went from a low whimper to a heartbroken one. Tang Chuan was so agitated that he kicked over a wooden coffee table in the room. His leg was bruised. Qin Ning squatted down and hurriedly looked for the first aid kit to wipe the alcohol off Tang Chuan's face. Wei Liao also sucked in a breath of cold air. His entire body felt unwell. Jiang Xiaowei held her husband's hand tightly. She wanted to comfort him, but she didn't know what to say. The professor and Lu Yen were calmer than the others. After all, they didn't have a deep relationship with Suyu. However, they knew that Suyu was doing this for everyone. Thus, their hearts were very heavy. Huan Min had the biggest reaction. After hearing this, she turned around and grabbed Suyu's collar. "Suyu, you liar. I asked you in my dream, but you didn't say anything. Didn't you say you were fine? Why can't you come back? Tell me, why did you lie to me? You big liar, I'll never forgive you again. I'll never be good friends with you again." This was the first time Huan Min was so hysterical. Qin Chu rushed forward and hugged Huan Min tightly. Master Wu also tried to persuade him, "You'd better not touch Suyu. If he moves away now, he might disappear in the dream." Huan Min instantly stopped. Then, his eyes widened as he sat on the ground dejectedly. "Master Wu, is there really no other way? You're an expert, please help us." Qin Chu looked at Master Wu and placed his last hope on him. Chapter 45:15. Without waiting for Master Wu to speak, Huan Min said slightly, "Can I replace him? I want to replace him. Let him come out and I'll go in, okay?" Master Wu shook his head. "I understand how you guys feel. Su Yu is my disciple, and I've only taken in one disciple in my life. Naturally, I don't want anything to happen to him, but there's really nothing I can do about this. When Su Yu entered the dream for the second time, I told him that there were only two outcomes if you went back this time. Firstly, the dream creator will kill you and your people. Secondly, if you successfully kill the dream creator, all your friends will come back, but you will stay in the dream forever." No one said anything and just listened quietly. Master Wu continued, "I've emphasized the stakes many times, but Su Yu still chose to do so. Obviously, you guys are more important to him than himself, so please respect his choice. Master Wu, what will happen to Su Yu in the dream? Will he be in danger? What will he encounter? How is he going to live alone in the dream?" Jiang Xiaowei was indeed a psychologist. The questions she thought of were things that no one had thought of yet. She had already accepted the fact that Su Yu was in the dream. However, she wanted to know what Su Yu would be like in the dream after everyone left. What would he encounter? Would he be in danger? Sure enough, after Jiang Xiaowei asked, everyone looked at Master Wu expectantly. It seemed like everyone wanted to know what Su Yu would experience in the dream. Master Wu sighed. "I've never experienced such a thing before, so I don't dare to speculate. However, based on my personal analysis, the dream creator is already dead, so he's naturally not in danger. However, all of you have left. He might be alone in the dream. No matter what he experiences, he's still alone. Because the dream creator is already dead, all the things created by the dream creator have collapsed. Su Yu is the only real person left in the nightmare, so he might be the only one left. What's scary now is not whether he's in danger in the dream. The scariest thing is the endless loneliness." After Master Wu finished speaking, everyone understood what he meant. In Su Yu's dream, he was neither old nor dead, he was not in danger, and he did not need to eat or drink. However, he was always alone, and he had no concept of time. Just thinking about it made one feel despair. He didn't know where he had read this sentence before, but the scariest thing in the world was not death, nor was it the separation of life and death. It was the endless loneliness. When Lady Su heard this, she was already sobbing. "You my silly child. What am I going to do if you do this? My heart hurts so much. Let me go in and be with you, my child." Mrs. Su cried her eyes out, especially when she saw with her own eyes that everyone had returned safely, except for Su Yu, who was still asleep. "Master Wu, how are we going to deal with him now?" Lu Yen had been keeping a cool head. Su Yu's soul seemed to be trapped in the dream and couldn't come back. Only a body was still in the real world. as if it was asleep. To put it nicely, he was asleep. To put it bluntly, he was in a vegetative state. Master Wu glanced at the sleeping Su Yu and felt extremely depressed. He might always be in a deep sleep like this, never aging or dying, but he'll never wake up. Should we send him to the hospital? Give him a nutrient drip or something? Lu Yen said. No, he doesn't need anything. He just needs to lie here quietly. What if Su Yu's body is in the real world? What would happen if he died in the dream? Lu Yen asked. Master Wu looked at Lu Yen with a complicated expression. Chapter 45:16. He'll die even in the dream. From now on, there will be no Su Yu. No, I don't want it. Even if he doesn't wake up, I want his body to stay with me. No one is allowed to touch him. Lady Su was probably too worried, so when she heard Lu Yen and Master Wu's conversation, she immediately rushed over. She immediately rushed over to protect Su Yu, thinking that someone was going to do something to him. Auntie, don't worry. We will definitely protect Su Yu's body and not let him get hurt again. Qin Chu's voice was extremely hoarse. He felt extremely guilty towards Su Yu, but he was someone who could never express it. At this moment, in the dream, seeing the dream crumble bit by bit, everyone left the nightmare. At that moment, Su Yu felt relieved. He had entered the dream a second time for this moment. He was not a savior, he was just a man who was willing to protect the woman he loved. He was Su Yu. Su Yu had once fantasized about what would happen to him after he killed all the dream creators and his friends returned to the real world. However, at this moment, he still felt inexplicably lonely. The dream creators were dead, and all the illusory scenes collapsed. There was no Su Yu's villa, no South Hill Manor, and no Sea City. There was no Yunnan jungle or Arctic underwater world. All that was left in this world was a patch of gray. After that, there were no more tall buildings, no more heavy traffic. Su Yu walked alone in the endless desert. He didn't need water or food. He wouldn't age, he wouldn't die, and he didn't need to sleep. No matter how far he walked, he couldn't walk out of this gray desert. He knew that this was the incomplete dream after his friends left and the dream creators died. His world alone. He also knew that he would never be able to get out of here. Perhaps he would be trapped here forever. After walking for some time, Su Yu was a little disappointed. He didn't have the courage to continue walking, because no matter how long he walked, it was the same. This place would never change and there was no sound. It was as if he was the only one in the world. Yes, that's right, he was the only one in the world. Su Yu sat down tiredly and bent his knees. Then, he reached out and grabbed a handful of sand. He thought of the first time he met Mion, that cold, domineering, and sharp-tongued nurse who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. He smiled. It was as if when he thought of Huomin's familiar face, Su Yu felt that everything he did was worth it. In this spacious and uninhabited place, Su Yu was so lonely that he wanted to cry, but he wouldn't. He knew that his friends had returned to the real world safely. This was the ending he wanted, wasn't it? After a while, Su Yu opened his mouth. He wanted to sing. Yes, he suddenly wanted to sing a song. That graceful and low voice rang out. Just once is enough. I'll take you to see the end of time. Laughing on a sunny day, making noise in the free air, do you know that the only thing I want, the world is still small, I'll accompany you to the ends of the earth in a corner without worries, stop searching, slowly grow old in a carefree time, do you know that my heart is beating with you? This was the love song that Su Yu sang to Huomin at the anniversary celebration in front of so many people. This was the first time he had sung a love song in his life. Even now, he still liked it very much. If God gave him a chance to take care of Mion, just once. Chapter 45:17. Su Yu, at South Hill Manor. Huomin suddenly woke up in the middle of the night and called out Su Yu's name. Honey, did you have a nightmare? Qin Chu quickly got up and hugged Huomin in his arms. Then, he kept comforting her. He patted her back gently as if he was coaxing a child. I heard Su Yu sing. Hearing Su Yu's name, Qin Chu's eyes dimmed. Su Yu's actions weren't approved by everyone, but Qin Chu understood him. If it were Qin Chu, he would have made the same choice as Su Yu. Su Yu was probably Qin Chu's most respected opponent and most special friend in his life. They fought side by side 4 times in the dream. They worked together to kill 4 dream creators. All of this was thanks to Su Yu. However, when everything was done and everyone had left safely, the situation had changed. Su Yu, on the other hand, was left there forever. As for them, there was nothing they could do. No one could do anything for Su Yu. They couldn't even speak to Su Yu anymore. Huamin had been in a daze recently. It had been almost a week since they returned to the real world. Everyone had accepted this cruel fact. Lu Yen and the professor had left. Lu Yen went to look for Qiao Fei. The professor returned to the headquarters to investigate the mastermind behind this incident. Gao Ran went back to work, and Zhu Lingling took the children to school. Jiang Xiaowei resigned from her position at the city bureau and opened her own psychological clinic. Wei Liao's father officially retired, and the Wei family was officially taken over by Wei Liao. Tang Chuan, on the other hand, drank himself to death every day and didn't do his job. Qin Ning returned to work at GK and helped Qin Chu manage the company's business. Bella didn't become a vegetable. She was still working well. Jixin was taking care of his sickly mother at Sky Blessing Court. Rick went back to the United States to deal with the family business, while Cece stayed in the city to wait for delivery. The twins were picked up by Qin Chu from the Su family. At first, Pudding and Little Bean also cried sadly. Later, they gradually accepted the truth. Little Bean didn't like to eat as much anymore. She started thinking about losing weight. Pudding, on the other hand, was even quieter than before. In Su Yu's villa, Su Yu's body fell into a deep sleep. Xiaoan wholeheartedly took care of his master. Master Wu didn't leave either and stayed in Su Yu's villa. Lady Su would make all kinds of delicious food and send it to her son every day. Then she would chat with him for a while. Lord Su hadn't returned from the military region yet, so he didn't know about this yet. She heard that Mr. Su was seriously ill. His heart wasn't in good condition, so he went to America for surgery. The Su family used to be fine, but now they were homeless and miserable. Everyone had accepted the truth and was immersed in sorrow. Huamin's mental state became very bad. She started to be paranoid. Qin Chu had no choice but to take care of her carefully. After all, her due date was coming soon. Who knew when the child would be born? He still remembered what Su Yu said to Qin Chu before he left the incubus. Take good care of this silly woman and give birth to Qin Guogua. Qin Chu recalled Su Yu's expression and tone back then. He felt heartbroken. Min, don't be too nervous. Relax. Qin Chu hugged her. Hubby, I'm not lying to you. Really, I think I heard Su Yu sing. He sings very well, doesn't he? Every time he sings a love song, he pretends to be very affectionate. When he comes back, I'll definitely drag him to the KTV and sing a few songs for me. Qin Chu didn't say anything. After a while, Huamin reached out and shook Qin Chu's index finger. Then she lowered her voice and asked, Hubby. Yeah. Su Yu will come back, right? Huamin asked softly. Chapter 45:18. Faced with Huamin's question, Qin Chu could only remain silent because he didn't know how to answer. Honey, you said that when I give birth, Su Yu will definitely come back, right? He's so rich and he still wants to give me a big gift. I want to take the opportunity to scam him. Qin Chu remained silent. Hubby, are you jealous? Are you afraid that I'll treat Su Yu too well and neglect you? Me and it's late? Go to bed early. Qin Chu hugged Huamin tightly in his arms and didn't give her a chance to speak. He covered her with the blanket. After another 10 minutes, the bedroom was silent. Then, Qin Chu heard a soft sob. Huamin was crying. She knew that what she said was unrealistic and was lying to herself. Qin Chu's heart ached, but he knew that with Huamin's IQ, she didn't need to be comforted. She could only slowly walk out of this sadness on her own, at Su Yu's private mansion. Boss, it's time to wash your face, in the morning, and walked over with a basin of water. Then, after wetting the towel, he carefully wiped Su Yu's face. 3 days after returning to the real world. Soon, Su Yu's personal lawyer arrived. Before Su Yu entered the dream for the second time, he made a will plan. The company was handed over to Wei Liao and Tang Chuan, who each had half of the shares. However, Wei Liao was in charge of it for the time being. This was because Tang Chuan was not interested in business and drank all day long. Then he gave his parents and grandfather his stocks and savings, including a Swiss bank account. Su Yu still had 300 million genes. He gave them to Huamin's 3 children: Pudding, Little Bean, and the unborn baby in her stomach. Each of them received 100 million yuan. From the moment the child was born, they would receive money every year until the child was 100 years old. Su Yu's car and private villa were given to him. He even gave in some shares of Imperial Star Group. Because Xiaoan didn't know how to do business, Su Yu planned to give him a bonus every year for his sake. Su Yu's private villa and the dozens of luxury cars in the garage were also extremely expensive, and had followed Su Yu for many years. In the end, Su Yu only hoped that he could get married, have children, and live a good life. However, when the lawyer asked Xiaoan to transfer the ownership, he was rejected. He was very emotional at that time and chased the lawyer away. He even scolded loudly, "What do you mean by transferring? My boss is not dead. He will wake up." And didn't want money, a villa, or a car. He just wanted to stay here quietly and wait for his boss to come back. Master Wu also stayed behind. Every day he and An would guard Su Yu. Although he didn't know what else he could do, he didn't know. At that moment, the doorbell rang. "Someone's here," Master Wu said. "I'll open the door." "Master Wu, you can go to the dining room. We'll be able to eat soon." And put down the towel in a low mood and wiped his hands. Then he walked to the door and opened it. Seeing who it was, and was stunned for a moment. Then, his emotions became complicated again. Han Yueao was back. Han Yueao had gone overseas to film with the production team for a long time. She didn't know what had happened during this time. However, when she came back from filming, she heard that something had happened to her boss. She didn't even put on makeup. She wore a mask and came to Su Yu's house with her hair disheveled. "And where's President Su?" "In the room." And pointed. "Let me see." Han Yueao rushed in impatiently and rushed into the room. When she saw the sleeping Su Yu, her heart almost broke. "What the fuck is going on? I just went out to film. Why did the boss become like this?" Han Yueao stood in front of Su Yu's bed and started crying. Chapter 45:19. "Miss Han, don't cry yet. I'm not done wiping the boss's face yet. Can you cry later?" And could understand Han Yueao's feelings, but seeing her cry so loudly, he reminded her slightly. Upon hearing that he was going to wipe Su Yu's face, Han Yueao immediately volunteered, "I'll do it. Give me the towel." Give it to me. Don't dawdle. I'm a woman after all. I'm more meticulous than you." "All right, then I'll have to trouble you." And couldn't persuade Han Yueao and could only give her the towel. Han Yueao sat in front of Su Yu's bed and carefully wet the towel. Then she gently wiped Su Yu's cheeks. Then she did it with his hands. After wiping his face, Han Yueao took out a nail clipper from her bag. She began to trim Su Yu's nails, seeing how much Han Yueao cared about Su Yu and was filled with emotions. So many things had happened in the dream, and Miss Han had confessed to the boss? Unfortunately, that was all in the dream. "Miss Han, do you like the boss?" And blurted out. Han Yueao's back stiffened. Then, without looking back, she said, "Yeah, maybe the whole world knows that I like Su Yu. Only he doesn't know." "No, the boss knows." "He knows?" Han Yueao was stunned. She turned around and looked at him curiously. "Yeah, boss knows how you feel about him. In the nightmare, we experienced a lot. There was a fictional version of you, but you looked exactly like the real you. That version of you confessed to boss in the dream, and a lot of things happened." She had vaguely heard about Su Yu and the others entering the nightmare. Hearing En's words, Han Yueao had mixed feelings. "Really? Then in my dream, did I take down Su Yu and sleep with him?" Han Yueao pursed her lips and asked. "Not really, but you and the boss are already very, very good friends. The boss treats you very well. This time, the boss even told Mr. Wei and the others that after they take over the company, they have to spare no effort to support you and make you the most popular celebrity." Who cares if I'm popular or not? I don't care. Back then, I only did this to earn money so that my parents could live a better life. Then she put down Su Yu's hand with tears in her eyes. When is this guy going to wake up? Seriously, he's such a good sleeper, and remained silent. Xiaoan, I want to drink some wine. Do you have it at home? Yes, but it's so early in the morning. Won't drinking hurt your spleen and stomach? If I want to drink, I'll drink. Who cares so much? Then she wiped her tears and turned to leave. After packing up, and hurried to the dining room with Han Yueyao. Han Yueyao had never seen Master Wu before, so she glanced at him. Ah, this is my boss's master, Master Wu. Han Yueyao nodded slightly in greeting. This is my boss's employee, and introduced awkwardly. Master Wu didn't say anything, and took out a bottle of red wine and placed it in front of Han Yueyao. I don't want red wine. I want white wine, Han Yueyao said. And sweated and returned the red wine to the wine cabinet. He took out a bottle of Maodai. Give me a bottle too, Master Wu said. What day is it today? Why are you drinking white wine so early in the morning? Is that okay? And said as he placed the white wine on the table. I want to give birth to Su Yu's child, Han Yueyao suddenly said as she held the white wine bottle. Master Wu and An were stunned. Then they both looked at Han Yueyao. Chapter 45-20. An and Master Wu were both dumbfounded. Han Yueyao poured herself a glass of white wine and took a small sip. Then she continued, I heard that Su Yu's sperm has been frozen. As long as I'm willing, I can give birth to his child using IVF technology. And looked at Han Yueyao in shock. In the dream, Han Yueyao had said the same thing, but not to An, but to Lady Su. She didn't expect this to happen again in the real world. Miss Han. And had mixed feelings and didn't know what to say. However, in his heart, if President Su didn't come back, it would be a good thing for the Su family and Su Yu to have a descendant. However, Miss Han was so young and beautiful with a limitless future. She was the most promising female celebrity promoted by Imperial Star. If she chose to have a child with IVF at this time, how was she going to live the rest of her life? Did she really have to watch over Su Yu, who was in a deep sleep? Don't be rash. We all know how you feel about Su Yu. But this isn't a small matter. You can't just give birth like a child. Master Wu was very rational. He also wanted to persuade Han Yueyao not to be rash and not do something she would regret. After all, giving birth to Su Yu's child wasn't something that could happen immediately. It still depended on whether the Su family agreed or not. Master, don't try to persuade me. I'm a stubborn person. I'll definitely do what I've decided. I'm not being rash. I like Su Yu. I'm willing to do anything for Su Yu. Even if he is no longer in this world, I'm still willing. With that, Han Yueyao downed a mouthful of white wine. She could be said to be a heroine. Han Yueyao liked Su Yu. This was a secret that everyone knew, even though things didn't progress as fast in the real world as in the dream. However, it still couldn't change Han Yueyao's fondness for Su Yu. She really liked him, deeply. When she went overseas to film, she would check Su Yu's WeChat moments and Weibo every day to see if he had updated his status. She even asked about Su Yu's recent situation from the company. She wanted to work hard and bring glory to the company. If she had the chance, she would sing a song for Su Yu at the celebration party and confess her love. Unfortunately, she didn't have the chance. Who would have thought that Su Yu would become like this without warning? Before Su Yu's accident, Han Yueyao didn't even have the time to meet him? When she heard that Su's accident, she was dumbfounded. She was in disbelief. It wasn't until she came to Su Yu's house and saw Su Yu's body that she realized what had happened. It wasn't a dream or a prank. Su Yu. She had forgotten that a gossip magazine reported that the Su family froze their baby because Su Yu refused to get married. Then, many scheming bitches tried to get their hands on Su Yu's baby so that they could enter the Su family. Even if they didn't enter the Su family, they would be able to live a carefree life because of their children. However, it was said that Su Yu's baby was in the military hospital and was heavily protected. Without the permission of Su Yu and the Su family, no one could enter. Therefore, Han Yueyao's impromptu idea had to depend on the Su family's decision. Miss Han, we all know that you're good to my boss. But I don't think we can make the decision on such a big matter. You'd better discuss it with Auntie. Besides, you're an unmarried girl. If you do such a thing, what will happen to you in the future? Do you still want to get married? Chapter 45:21. I'll talk to Auntie Sue, Han Yueyao glanced at An and said firmly. It was as if she had already made up her mind about this matter. Let's eat. Everyone must be hungry. Let's see if my food is to your liking. And picked up some food from Master Wu and Han Yueyao. Han Yueyao didn't move her chopsticks. Instead, she downed the white wine in her glass. Then she stood up. I can't eat anymore. I'll leave first. I'll come and see Su Yu again. With that, Han Yueyao left without looking back, afraid that others would see the tears in her eyes. This girl is pretty good, Master Wu commented after Han Yueyao left. An sighed as he poured wine for Master Wu. Yeah, I think Miss Han is a good person too. But it can't be helped. It doesn't matter who says she's good. My boss doesn't like her. Is it because of that female doctor? Master Wu asked an ahem. You know everything. Su Yu told me. Huh? My boss told you about Dr. Hua? Yeah, he told me a little. I saw that kid yesterday too. I can tell that he's a good person. Master Wu recalled Huamin. At the mention of Huamin, An let out another long sigh. Of course, Dr. Hua has nothing to say. Anyone who knows her character will like her. She's a very independent girl with her own personality. She's magnanimous and calm, and she's been really good to my boss these few years. However, no matter how good Dr. Hua is, she has a family and children. She can be friends with my boss, but as for a relationship, there's no chance. That's why it's an ill-fated relationship. Master Wu sighed. He knew that if it weren't for Huamin, Su Yu wouldn't have risked his life to enter the dream a second time. Of course, a person's heart was limited. If it contained one person, it wouldn't be able to contain another. Therefore, no matter how good the others were, Su Yu couldn't see them. No matter how imperfect Huamin was, she was still Su Yu's true love. South Hill Manor. After answering Lu Yan's call, Qin Chu went upstairs to check on Huamin worriedly. After Lu Yan and the professor left, she was worried about Huamin. Lu Yan called from time to time to ask about Huamin. Huamin's situation was very bad. Almost every time she opened her mouth, the two words, Su Yu, would not leave her mouth. Pudding and Little Bean would cry every time their mother mentioned handsome Su. In the end, the three of them hugged each other and cried. As for Qin Chu, the head of the family, as a husband and as a father, he felt even more upset. Qin Chu hung up the phone and went upstairs. When she entered the bedroom, she found that Huamin had already finished washing up. You're up, honey. Qin Chu greeted her gently. Huamin nodded. The weather forecast said that it's getting warmer today. It looks like winter is almost over. So I took out the cashmere coat you bought for me last year. Does it make me look younger? Huamin was wearing a cashmere coat that Qin Chu bought for her when he went to Hong Kong on a business trip. The style was simple but beautiful. The beige color made Huamin look a lot more energetic. If one didn't look at her round belly and only looked at her face, one would think that she was a young and energetic college student. Mian, are you going out? Seeing her dressed like this, Qin Chu knew that she was going out. Yeah. I'm going to Southside today to visit my old colleagues and do a prenatal checkup to check on the baby. I'll go with you. It's okay. You go to work. I can go by myself. No, I'll go with you. Qin Chu insisted on going with her. After all, Su Yu's incident was a big blow to Huamin. He was afraid that she would be distracted and have an accident. Honey, can you buy Southside for me? Huamin walked over slowly and wrapped her arms around Qin Chu's neck, acting like a spoiled child. Chapter 45:22. Qin Chu hugged Huamin and was slightly surprised. Why do you want to buy Southside? Because I want to fight for my dignity. Because of Xing Ro, President Wu and I lost our jobs because of her father. Now that I'm back at Southside, I'm not the deputy director anymore. The baby is unhappy. Seeing Huamin's coquettish tone, Qin Chu smiled deeply. Okay, buy it. If you like it, we'll buy it. Then I want to be the director this time, not the deputy director. Okay, if you like it, I'll buy all the hospitals in Sea City for you. No, I like South Side. Qin Chu would never refuse Huamin's request. It was rare for his beloved wife to take the initiative to ask for something. How could Qin Chu not agree to it? Then, after breakfast, Qin Chu drove Huamin to South Side for a prenatal checkup. The twins were picked up by Tang Chuan and Qin Ning and sent to the Su family's house. This was Qin Chu's idea. He was afraid that Lady Su would be too sad, so the twins didn't go to school for the next few days. Every day, they went back and forth between South Hill Manor and the Su family's old mansion. When the twins arrived, Lord Su and Mr. Su happened to be back. After hearing about what happened to Su Yu, the old man seemed to have aged a lot overnight. Then, he didn't say a word and just smoked. "Dad, take care of yourself. Don't smoke so much," Mr. Su advised. "I'm already so old. Even if I die now, it's worth it. But my poor Yu, he's only 30 years old." As Lord Su spoke, the whole family cried together. When the twins entered, they saw this sad scene. Little Bean quickly ran over and climbed into Lord Su's arms. She wiped the old man's tears. "Great-grandpa, be good. Don't cry. I have durian candy for you." As she spoke, Little Bean took out a piece from her pocket and stuffed it into the old man's mouth. The old man was also unyielding. He had worked hard in the army all his life, and his bones were firm and unyielding. When she saw the two children, she forced herself to hold back her tears. "Great-grandpa, I think handsome Su will come back. He won't leave us behind. Look, we love him so much," Little Bean said. Master Lord Su nodded with tears in his eyes. He didn't say anything else, but he felt even worse. Pudding, on the other hand, brought tissues to Mr. and Mrs. Su. Then, he didn't say anything and just silently accompanied her. "Pudding, did you miss your Uncle Su?" Lady Su hugged Pudding and rubbed her face against Pudding's as she asked in a hoarse voice. "Yes, I really do. I dream of him almost every night," Pudding said. "Good child." Lady Su still wanted to say something, but the moment she opened her mouth, it was filled with tears. "Lord Su, Grandma Su, Great-grandpa. We're all sad to see handsome Su like this, but we have to be strong. I'm sure handsome Su doesn't want us to be like this." Pudding is right. "You definitely doesn't like us crying," Mr. Su said as he wiped his tears. "Our handsome Su will definitely wake up. He's just too tired and is sleeping. We don't have to be so sad." Little Bean's childish voice echoed in the empty living room, but everyone's hearts felt even heavier. Su Yu wasn't dead, but if he didn't wake up, it was no different from being dead. He kept giving everyone hope, but he also disappointed them. At this moment, Lady Su thought of something. She looked at Lord Su and said, "Dad, about that girl? My dad and I both think it's feasible. What do you think? As long as you agree, we can take it out." "No, I don't agree," Lord Su refused immediately. Chapter 45-23. Lady Su looked at her husband. The two of them looked at each other and didn't dare to speak. Master Lord Su continued, "I understand how you feel. I also want our Su family to have a descendant, but we can't harm her. She's a pure and innocent girl. She's not our surrogate. Why should she give birth to our family's child? It's fine if he wakes up, but if he doesn't, how is she going to live the rest of her life? Yu's situation is already a tragedy for our Su family. We can't implicate others." "Dad." Lady Su wanted to say something. "Don't say any more. I don't agree with this. I won't do something that goes against my family just because my grandson is gone. Besides, Yu is gone. What's the use of having a child? As the old saying goes, if the pot is gone, what's the use of buying a pot lid?" Master Lord Su's meaning was obvious. Su Yu was irreplaceable in his heart. Even if they used IVF to give birth to a child with the Su family's genes, what was the use? Could he replace Su Yu? Obviously not. Su Yu's position in this family was irreplaceable. After Huamin went to Southside, he talked to some of his old colleagues. Then, he did a prenatal checkup and saw that the baby was fine. Qin Chu helped Huamin into the car. "Are you hungry? Shall I take you to eat?" Huamin shook his head. I've already discussed the acquisition of the hospital. It'll probably take a week. When you give birth, this hospital will be our family's. Are you feeling unwell? Seeing that Huamin wasn't in a good mood, Qin asked carefully. I want to see Suyu. Okay. Faced with Huamin's request, Qin didn't say anything and drove Huamin to Su Yu's mansion. As soon as they arrived, Qin received a call from Qin Ning. She said that Tang Chuan was drunk and got into a fight with someone. Qin quickly drove to Tang Chuan's place. After Huamin entered, he took off his jacket. He was only wearing a light green knitted sweater inside. President Hua, and had been Huamin's chauffeur for more than 3 years to protect her. Therefore, he was used to calling him President Huamin. Yes, have you guys eaten? Yes, I have. I'm here to see Su Yu, Huamian said. Okay, I'll take you there. No need. You do what you need to do. I'll go in and have a look. Then Huamin Su. He had changed into comfortable pajamas. They were white, Su Yu's favorite color. Su Yu's face was very clean, and washed his face and shaved his beard every morning. There was no trace of sloppiness at all. Huamin made a small stool and sat down in front of Su Yu's bed. Then she glanced at Su Yu's dry lips. She took out a cotton swab from her bag. She took out the mineral water she carried with her. She wet the cotton swab and wiped Su Yu's lips. As she wiped, she spoke. I went to the hospital for a checkup today. The baby is very healthy and his heartbeat is very strong. Everyone said that he will be a strong young man in the future. It's very close to his due date. He might be out in less than a week. You must be happy for him, right? You said, when I give birth, you will prepare a big gift for me. So, you have to wake up early. Don't go back on your word. Do you hear me? You have to buy a gift, and it has to be very, very expensive. I know you're rich, so I have to scam you. Huamin smiled after she finished speaking. However, her words did not receive any response. Su Yu was still in a deep sleep. Even his eyelashes did not move. Chapter 45-24. Huamin smiled and continued, Today, I begged my husband to buy South Side for me. Isn't that rich? I want to learn from you. You spend a lot of money. After buying South Side, I can continue to be the director. When the time comes, you have to support me. When you wake up, tell all the employees of Imperial Star that they have to go to South Side twice a day. That way, I won't have to worry about not having business. Huamin muttered to himself in Su Yu's room, and listened at the door for a while and felt a little uncomfortable. Master Wu, why do I feel like President Hua is crazy? Why is he talking to my boss alone? And walked over and said to Master Wu, What do you know? This is called longing. Master Wu shook his head and looked at him as he said that Huamian was crazy. This kid was drunk. All right. I can't understand what you cultured people are saying. I'm going to buy groceries. Today, I'm going to make squirrel mandarin fish. It's my boss's favorite. If he wakes up, he'll be able to eat delicious fish, and placed his hopes on every day. He even imagined that one day, when he woke up, he would see his boss in a bathrobe, drinking beer, playing with his phone, and watching football in the living room. That would be a very, very big surprise. After and left, Huamin sat alone in Su Yu's room for a while and talked to Su Yu for a while. Then he got up. I'm leaving first. You have to wake up early. I'll come and see you in a few days. I'll bring you flowers. Do you like lilies or hyacinths? There was still no response. If you don't say anything, that means you like both. I'll buy some of both then. Then Huamin picked up his bag and left. As soon as he left, he saw Master Wu standing at the door. He was smoking a cigarette. Huamin glanced at Master Wu's cigarette. He immediately put it out. Sorry, I'm addicted to smoking. It's okay. I'm about to give birth, so it won't affect me, Huamin said. Can we talk? All right. Knowing that this person was Su Yu's master and that he was a good person who had helped them a lot, Huamin agreed to Master Wu's request. The two of them walked to the balcony and looked at the scenery of the neighborhood. Master Wu spoke first. I know that the person Su Yu can't let go of is actually you. He entered the dream a second time. He said it was for everyone, but it was still to save you. Huamin didn't say anything, but he felt a lump in his throat and wanted to cry. I've finally seen this kid's temper. He's as stubborn as an old bull. Even as his master, he wouldn't listen to me. I even told him that he was rich and powerful and didn't need anything. He had finally escaped from the nightmare, so he should just live a good life and not go back. But he didn't want to. He even used the fastest way to go back. He didn't even greet his family. He's afraid that his family will be sad, Huamin said. Master Wu nodded. There were many people that day, so I was too embarrassed to tell you some things, especially since your man was there. Tell me today. Huamin was still calm. Master Wu took out a crumpled note from his pocket. Then he handed it to Huamin. This is what this kid wrote before he entered the dream a second time. He said, if there's a chance, he wanted me to give this to you. Before Huamin could read it, Master Wu added, it's not a deposit slip or a check. It's just a sentence he wrote. Let me make it clear in advance that I didn't peek. Huamin took the note with a heavy heart. Her rationality told her that she shouldn't open this. She shouldn't read it. Reading it would only make her feel worse. However, her emotions told her that this was written by Su Yu himself and was the last thing he left for her. Just like that, after some hesitation, Huamin opened the note that Su Yu had written. Chapter 45-25. In the next life, can it be you instead? Shed your pride and love me so much that you go crazy. When Huamin finished reading this sentence, her tears fell like a broken string of beads. It was confirmed that it was Su Yu's handwriting. Even the note was crumpled. Such a literary style was not like Su Yu's usual tone. But Huamin knew that he must have written it, because he knew that after entering the dream for the second time, he would never come back. Whether he could save everyone or not, he would never come back. So writing such words under that kind of mood was probably the truest feeling in Su Yu's heart. Ever since Qin Chu came back from the United States and reunited with her, Su Yu had been suppressing his feelings for Huamin. He didn't dare to let others see it and deliberately kept a distance from her. He even reduced the number of times they met and rarely met alone. It was to avoid arousing suspicion. It wasn't that he was afraid that Qin Chu would be jealous. It was just because Su Yu knew that Huamin had a complete family, a man who loved her deeply and her children. And as an intruder, he appeared later than Qin Chu. The most important thing was that Huamin only had Qin Chu in her heart from the beginning to the end. Su Yu knew that there was no hope in this life. Even if Qin Chu didn't come back from the United States, his proposal wouldn't have succeeded, because Huamin couldn't change the price. Especially after giving birth to Qin Chu's children, it was even more impossible for her to remarry him. Su Yu used to be an atheist. Later, when he saw Huamin occasionally practicing Buddhism, he was more or less influenced. Later, he even believed in the past life and the present life. Buddhism said that people had 3 lives of karma. What they cultivated in the past life, they would suffer in this life, and what they cultivated in this life, they would enjoy in the next life. Therefore, Su Yu wondered if there was really an afterlife. Could he be given a chance to take care of Huamin just once? Just once would be enough. Master Wu did not peek at what was written on the note, but he could roughly guess. After all, Su Yu's words were like his last words. Huamin wouldn't feel good if he heard them. Huamin's hands trembled violently as he held the note. Then, she cried for a very long time. In the end, the baby in her stomach moved violently, and she managed to control her emotions. The baby seemed to have sensed his mother's agitation as well. He was so scared that he kept turning around in her stomach. Huamin gasped for breath. He felt like he was about to suffocate. No one had ever made her feel so bad before, not even when Huasiqian died. Huamin saw with his own eyes that in the dream, Huasiqian snatched her explosives and wanted to die together with Layla. Then he was blown to pieces. That scene was already heartbreaking. But now, Su Yu had left her this message in the real world, even though he was in her dream. Huamin felt a sharp pain in his chest. "Child, are you okay?" Master Wu was a little worried. After all, Huamin was a pregnant woman who was about to give birth. Huamin was crying so hard that he couldn't speak. He just kept shaking his head. Calm down, you're still pregnant. After a while, Huamin gradually calmed down. Master Wu, did Suyu say anything else when he gave you this note? He didn't say anything. I could tell that he was quite conflicted and almost tore it apart. In the end, I said that if he wanted to say goodbye, he should say goodbye properly. A man shouldn't be shy, so he decided to leave this for you. I actually thought about not giving it to you. After all, Suyu is already like this. You'll only feel bad if you see this, but if I don't give it to you, it's equivalent to depriving him of his last chance to talk to you. So, Master Wu didn't feel good either and kept smoking. Master Wu, can you think of a way to send me into the dream to accompany Suyu? Huamin suddenly asked him. Chapter 45-26. Mian, what are you doing? Master Wu froze for a moment. The cigarette ash burned his fingers. I want to accompany Suyu. Don't do anything stupid. Calm down. Suyu has already sacrificed himself to send everyone back. If you go back like this, his sacrifice will be in vain. Do you know that the biggest reason why Suyu is so determined to enter the dream a second time is because of you? He'll only be at ease if you're doing well. Master Wu understood his disciple's bad temper. Huamin was really Suyu's tribulation. But I'm not doing well. I miss Suyu. Whenever I think about my friend being left alone in that lonely and cold place, and being trapped for the rest of his life, or even forever, I can't sleep or eat in peace. How can I be fine? Master Wu moved his lips, wanting to say something, but he didn't know how to refute Huamin. Master Wu, tell me the truth. Where is Suyu trapped? How long will he be trapped? Is he not even going to have a chance to reincarnate? Huamin looked at Master Wu with tears in her eyes. I really don't know about this because I've never experienced it before. But logically speaking, he should be trapped there forever. Huamin clutched her chest and looked up, tears rolling down her face. I don't want Suyu to be like that. It's unfair to him. What did he do wrong? To be punished like this? Those dream creators came for me, for Yen, and for my father. For the red demon, it has nothing to do with Suyu. I can't let him bear such serious consequences. Master Wu, I beg you. Huamin wanted Master Wu to send her into the dream. It's not that I don't want to help you. Mian, the dream creator is dead. That dream is already a deserted place. There's no exit, but there's no entrance either. I can't send you in. Hearing that Master Wu couldn't do anything, Huamin was in despair. She only felt her vision go black, and then she completely fainted on the ground. When she woke up again, she was already in the VIP ward at Southside. Qin Chu sat beside her, guarding her. Qin Chu's eyes were bloodshot, and his beard was unshaven. It seemed that he had been unconscious for a long time. Hubby, don't move. Lie down. Qin Chu immediately pressed her down. Hubby, how long have I been asleep? 1 day and 1 night. Qin Chu said. So you've been sitting here for a day and a night? Huamin asked him. Qin Chu gave a haggard smile. Even the wrinkles at the corners of his eyes could be clearly seen. Are you stupid? Don't you need to sleep? Huamin looked at Qin Chu with heartache. Are you stupid? Don't you care about our child? Qin Chu asked her. Huamin felt extremely guilty. She was indeed a little selfish. She wanted to find Suyu and repay Suyu's kindness. However, she ignored her husband, her daughters, and the child in her belly. I'm sorry. Don't say sorry. There's no need to say sorry between us anymore. I, Qin Chu, can forgive you whatever you do, Huamin, even if it means destroying the world. But please don't leave me behind. You know I can't lose you never. Qin Chu's tone was gentle and every word was clear. He reached out and held Huamin's wrist, like a pitiful child who was about to be abandoned. Huamin had never seen Qin Chu like this. At this moment, he was so helpless and terrified. Don't leave me behind. If you want to leave, take me with you. Chapter 45-27. Huamin's impulse was probably because he saw the note Suyu left behind. After Huamin fainted, Master Wu quickly called in and quickly found Qin Chu. Master Wu put away the note and burned it. Although it was nothing, he couldn't let Qin Chu see it. Otherwise, he would feel terrible. After calming down, Huamin calmed down a lot. Jixin and Bella brought Yang Merong to the hospital to accompany Huamin. With his family around, Huamin's mood was better. Bella didn't enter the dream, just like the twins. Therefore, she was in a good state of mind. Jixin, did you tell Sis about that? Bella looked at Jixin shyly. You should announce this yourself, Jixin said with a smile. Let Mom do it. I'm embarrassed. Bella held Yang Merong's hand. Yang Merong wiped Huamin's forehead with a handkerchief and said with a smile, Mian, Bella is pregnant. Really? That's a good thing. Huamin's eyes lit up. This was probably the best news he had heard recently. Yeah, it's been more than a month, but the two kids didn't say anything. I just found out. You're going to be an aunt. Yeah, I'm going to be an aunt. When the babies are born, I have to give them a big gift, Huamin mumbled. Jixin quickly interrupted her. I don't want any big gifts. Sis, you've done enough for me all these years. I just want you to live a safe and happy life. Tears welled up in Huamin's eyes. Seeing that Huamin was about to cry, Bella quickly continued, Sis, I only have one request. Can you give me some of Little Bean's and Pudding's childhood clothes? I'll save money and buy them for the babies. No, our baby can't wear old clothes. He has to wear new ones. I'll take care of all his clothes, Huamin said with a smile. Qin Chu was at the door. He was relieved when he saw Huamin's smile through the glass window. Then he called the professor and drove to the Su family's house. This was also the first time that Qin Chu had paid a visit to Su Yu's family after the incident. Su family mansion. When the guards saw Qin Chu's license plate number, he let him pass. Qin Chu's visit this time was different from the past. He didn't buy anything and came empty-handed. It was Lady Su who opened the door. Seeing Qin Chu, Lady Su nodded. Chu, you're here. Auntie, come in. Everyone is here. Your Lord Su is also home. How is Lord Su? Old Master's old illness is acting up again. He's been coughing recently. It was obvious that the Su family was still silent and sad. The twins had been staying at the Su family's house for the past few days. With the two children here, the Su family's house didn't seem so empty. Daddy, you're here. Little Bean ran over when she saw Qin Chu. Daddy, is Mommy here? Little Bean asked. No, your mommy is about to give birth. She has to stay in the hospital for the next few days. Qin Chu squatted down and patted Little Bean's head. Then he pinched Little Bean's face. He had been so busy these past few days that he didn't have the mood to take care of the two children. Fortunately, they were sensible. They also lived well in the Su family. They didn't cry or make a fuss. This saved Qin Chu a lot of trouble. These past few days, Mian alone was enough for him to worry about. Wow, so soon? Qin Guogua is coming out, right? Then I'll have a new toy in the future. Little Bean clapped her hands and said, Qin Guogua? What do you mean? Lady Su was stunned by the two children. Chapter 45-28. Little Bean immediately grabbed Lady Su's hand and said with a smile, Qin Guogua is my brother's nickname. It means that he will often be the scapegoat in the future. That's a terrible name. Don't call him that, Lady Su chided with a smile. Auntie, is Uncle home? He just went out to do something. He'll probably be back later. You can eat here later. I'll call him. Okay. Qin Chu nodded. Then, after hugging the two children, he got up and went upstairs to Lord Su's study. When Qin Chu entered, Grandpa Su was reading something with his reading glasses. Seeing Qin Chu enter, he put down his things. Only then did Qin Chu see clearly that it was a photo of Su Yu in military uniform. Before Qin Chu could speak, Grandpa Su took the initiative to say, this was taken when you first joined the army. At that time, he was still arrogant and unruly. He was a famous troublemaker in the southwest military region. No army was willing to take him. Later, I made up my mind and sent him to the special forces. Qin Chu felt very guilty. He lowered his head and said to Lord Su, Lord Su, I'm sorry. It's all because of us that Su Yu. Hey, Chu, let's not talk about this. I know Yu's personality. If he was a coward and lived on his own without caring about anyone else, I would be angry. That's how a man of the Su family should behave. My grandson did the right thing, and as his grandfather, I'm proud of him. I'm even more relieved that he was able to save everyone. Grandpa Su spoke from the bottom of his heart. Although something happened to Su Yu, Grandpa Su felt that his grandson did nothing wrong and was the pride of the Su family. Qin Chu didn't say anything, but he felt very sad. Su Yu was the only son of the Su family. Lord Su only had one precious grandson. But now, when Yu was young, he had a fiery temper. His father and I beat him up a lot, but he just wouldn't give in. He's really stubborn. Later, when he went to the military, his temper became even worse. He's very similar to me. When his grandmother was alive, she always said that Yu is exactly like me. He's the root of the Su family. After hearing this, Qin Chu walked over and picked up Su Yu's photo from the table. It was indeed very old. When Su Yu joined the army, he was only in his teens and hadn't even finished school. Moreover, he was a special forces soldier. He would definitely suffer a lot. In Qin Chu's mind, he kept thinking about how Su Yu had fought alongside him. The subtle friendship that the two of them had established. If not for Su Yu, they would not have known that they were in a dream, let alone the four dream creators. It was true that Su Yu had saved everyone, but it was also true that Su Yu had sacrificed himself. Master Lord Su, Mian and I are very sad about Su Yu. I'm a person with a sharp tongue, so I won't say anything. I just want to tell you that from now on, Mian and I, Pudding and Little Bean will be your closest relatives. We will always take care of you, Auntie Su, and Uncle Su. I will be filial to you on behalf of Su Yu. After saying this, Qin Chu knelt down in front of Lord Su. However, before he could touch the ground, the old man reached out to help him up. Chu, I understand your intentions. I'm satisfied with your words. You don't have to kneel to me. I appreciate your intentions. I've seen your and Mian's characters for the past few years, and I've treated you like my own children. So, there's no need for us to say this. It's enough that we have it in our hearts. Although he said that, Qin Chu still felt that Lord Su had aged a lot overnight. Master Lord Su, I'm here today because I have something important to report to you. Qin Chu's expression was serious. Chapter 45-29. Okay, sit down and talk. Lord Su pointed at the armchair beside him and asked Qin Chu to sit down. My father-in-law, Mian's father, Professor Lu, just called me. He found some clues. These might be related to the boss behind the four dream creators. And this person is in China now. Take a look. Do you recognize these signs? As he spoke, Qin Chu took out his phone and showed Lord Su some photos. Lord Su's expression changed drastically. Chu, where did you get these? They were all given to me by my father-in-law, Professor Lu. Is it accurate? Is the source reliable? Yes, it's very reliable. My father-in-law has a good relationship with the higher-ups of the FBI and can use a lot of high-level documents. After Qin Chu said this, the old man fell silent. However, his eyes were fixed on the photos. It was obvious that he recognized them. Qin Chu continued, the four dream creators came from a mysterious organization in the world called the Doomsday Death God. This organization has existed for 30 years, and outsiders don't know the exact number of members and whereabouts. They only know that it's a secret assassin organization. However, they don't know that their assassin identities are only on the surface. In fact, they've been doing some ambitious experiments. The red demon that my father-in-law developed many years ago is one of their treasures. This time, they went all out. The four dream creators weaved a huge net for us. If it weren't for Su Yu, all of us might have died inside. Now that the dream creators are dead, the conspiracy hasn't stopped. My father-in-law once found some key passwords on one of the dream creators, the one who pretended to be Dr. Linya. After returning to the real world, my father-in-law spent 3 days to crack the passwords and found these photos. What does the professor mean now? Lord Su asked Qin Chu. His meaning is very simple. He asked me to show these to you. You've been in the military for many years, so you must know these. You might already know who they are. I do know these, and I do know this person. Lord Su's expression was complicated. Is he from the military? Qin Chu asked tentatively. I really didn't expect him to have such power. Perhaps you don't know, but he retired 3 years ago. He's been living in a paradise near his hometown in Xianxia, Mount Tongnan. He doesn't care about worldly affairs. I always thought that he was the most aloof and free person among us elders. I didn't expect him to have such wild ambitions. He actually wants to obtain the Red Demon. Lord Su, you also know what the Red Demon is? Qin Chu was somewhat surprised. Of course, this is top secret. Only a few people know about it. Back then, we wanted to get our hands on it too. Later, after weighing the pros and cons, we gave up. If mankind wants to develop in the long term, we must not develop anything related to nuclear weapons. Otherwise, once the war breaks out, Earth will cease to exist. Although our country may think this way, other countries may not. Russia and America have always been restless. Otherwise, they would not have detained your father-in-law until now. It's not appropriate for a commoner like me to comment on national affairs. Chu, leave this matter to me. If it's really him, then I'll settle the score with him. Because my grandson was destroyed by him. After leaving Lord Su's house, Qin Chu went to the villa in the suburbs. Layla had once been imprisoned here, but after Linya died, Layla was reduced to ashes. Now, the person locked up here was Zeng Ro. Qin Chu? You actually came back alive? Zeng Ro was captured by Su Yu and was later tied up by Master Wu in the basement of the Su family. After Qin Chu returned, he ordered someone to move her away, but he had never interacted with her directly. Chapter 45-30. Qin Chu glanced at Zeng Ro's face coldly. What? You didn't expect this, did you? Yes, it seems like after Su Yu entered the dream for the second time, you guys worked together to kill all the dream creators. Zeng Ro had met Su Yu before and knew what Su Yu was going to do. Even though she was a hypnotist, it was inevitable that she had some true feelings for Su Yu. Therefore, when she heard that Su Yu was going to enter the dream for the second time, Zeng Ro was agitated and strongly opposed it. However, it did not stop Su Yu's final decision. Now that Qin Chu and the others had left the dream safe and sound, Su Yu's fate was obvious. Zeng Ro looked up and looked into Qin Chu's eyes with a complicated expression. She asked him, "So where's Su Yu?" He stayed there. "Yes," Qin Chu replied with one word. Zeng Ro's heart ached when she heard that. He, Su Yu, that fool? In the end, he's still willing to sacrifice himself for Huamin. Those who are trapped in the nightmare forever have no afterlife or present life. They only have endless loneliness. Zeng Ro, let's negotiate. Qin Chu didn't want to hear Zeng Ro sigh. He just wanted to talk to her about serious matters. I'm already like this. I'm just a prisoner. How can I negotiate? Zeng Ro sneered. Tell me how to save Su Yu. I'll let you go and not hurt you at all, Qin Chu said. Zeng Ro suddenly looked up and smiled sharply. You want to save Su Yu? Qin Chu, you have to know that he's your love rival. Without Su Yu, now that Huasiqian is dead and Su Yu is gone, Huamin is yours alone. Why do you still want to save him? Zeng Ro might not understand that Qin Chu and Su Yu were love rivals and found it unbelievable. But he's also my best friend, Qin Chu said word by word. Zeng Ro was shocked and in disbelief, but in the end she understood. So, tell me how to save Su Yu, no matter the cost. Seeing Huamin in pain, Qin Chu not only couldn't bear to see his wife's tea, but he also couldn't leave Su Yu alone in the nightmare. Otherwise, these people who were still alive would never be able to sleep. After all, their peaceful life was exchanged for by Su Yu's life. If that's the case, then I'll tell you the truth. There's no way to solve Su Yu's problem. Impossible. Qin Chu frowned slightly, his voice wavering. It doesn't matter if you believe me or not. I'm not lying. All the dream creators are dead, and the nightmare has collapsed. There's not even an entrance. No one can save Suyu. Just accept your fate. Isn't it contradictory? If the dream creators don't die, they might still have a chance to send Suyu out. But if the dream creators don't die, you people won't wake up from your dreams. So, this is really contradictory. Qin, it's impossible to save Suyu. It's useless even if you find anyone. This is the truth. If I had a way, do you think I would watch Suyu stay in that godforsaken place forever? Zheng Ro smiled as tears rolled down her cheeks. As a hypnotist, she had long lost her feelings and heart. However, Suyu, this fool, made her believe once again that there was such a devoted person in this world. Hearing Zheng Ro's words and looking at her expression, she didn't seem to be lying. Qin heart sank to the bottom. Qin, don't think that you can rest easy just because you came out alive. You killed the 4 dream creators of the Doomsday Death God. The boss won't let you off. Chapter 45-31. The boss you're talking about is Chief Y, right? Qin casual words made Zheng Ro's expression change drastically. How did you know? The professor cracked the code on the dream creator and found some clues. I'm afraid he can't even protect himself now. Master Lord Su lost his grandson and is looking for someone to take revenge. Zheng Ro didn't expect them to find out so quickly. Zheng Ro had always known the boss's identity and had been in contact with him for a long time. However, she didn't dare to say it, not even if she was beaten to death. After all, she was afraid that she would implicate her family. You're so obedient to him because of your family scandal, right? All these years, your Zheng family's officials haven't been very clean. There must be a lot of evidence in his hands. Qin, you're really smart. You know everything. As the dream creator who lured us into the dream, you really deserve to die. But I won't kill you. I'll lock you up for the rest of your life. I'll let you experience the same pain as Suyu. Qin hated Zheng Ro to the core. He had never hated a woman so much. He should have shot her to death, but he knew that killing her wouldn't save Suyu. Qin was actually testing Zheng Ro. He knew a thing or two from Lord Su, but he wasn't sure. Now that he had confirmed the culprit, he turned to leave. Suddenly, he heard a low moan. He turned around and saw Zheng Ro biting her tongue. Her mouth was full of blood. Qin didn't say anything. Perhaps he knew that Zheng Ro no longer had any desire to live and that the situation was hopeless. Even the boss behind this had been found out by them. What was a lackey like Zheng Ro? After Qin left, he ordered someone to burn down the villa in the suburbs. Zheng Ro mysteriously disappeared. That night, Qin received insider information. Secretary Zheng was investigated by the Anti-Corruption Bureau for corruption. And the Zheng family was arrested one after another. Another even more secret was that night, the former chief of a certain military region, Y, died of an illness at home. The next morning, Lord Su announced that he would retire early and return to Sea City. All of this happened very suddenly. Of course, ordinary people couldn't see any clues, but Qin knew that there was something fishy going on. On the way to the hospital, Qin received a call from the professor. "Dad," Qin said affectionately. "Chu, I've received news that Y is dead. Was it done by the old man from the Su family?" After his death, Doomsday Reaper God officially disintegrated. Little Yan's people killed all the remaining members of Doomsday Reaper God. "Where's Xiao Fei? Have you found him?" "Not yet. Xiao Yan is still sending people to look for him," said the professor. "I'm in Iceland now. I'm here to visit ya, Dr. Linya. Is she all right?" Actually, the Linya he saw back then was a dream creator. At that time, the professor had already entered the dream. Therefore, when he went to the cave in Iceland in his dream, he didn't see Linya's body and thought that she had run away. Now that he had returned to the real world and gone to Iceland, Linya's body was still there, but she was still the same. Her brain was dead and she was frozen. However, for the professor and Huamin, this was the best outcome. After all, Linya hadn't turned bad. She was still the best wife, the best mother, and the beauty who had been sleeping in the ice cave. "Yes, fine, don't worry. By the way, is there any movement in Mion's stomach? When is the baby coming out? Not yet. She's currently hospitalized at South Side, waiting to give birth. Is she okay? The professor was worried that something would happen to Su Yu, which would greatly affect his daughter. Chapter 45-32. Upon hearing this, Qin Chu fell slightly silent. She's in a good mood. Stay with her. She's already weak when she's about to give birth, and she needs comfort and companionship the most at this time. I believe this will pass slowly. She's a rational child and will pull herself together. Okay, Dad. I'll take good care of her. Don't worry. After my grandson comes out, I'll go with Yen. Okay, call me in advance. I'll pick you up. Then he hurriedly hung up the phone with the professor. When Qin Chu was about to arrive at the hospital, he received a call from Qin Ning. Brother, where are you? Come quickly. Qin Ning's tone was very urgent. Qin Chu's heart tightened slightly. I'm on my way. I'll be at the hospital soon. What's wrong? My sister-in-law's water broke. She's about to give birth. I'll be right there. After hanging up the phone, Qin Chu stepped on the gas pedal and sped all the way to the hospital. He changed into sterile clothes and followed the gynecologist into the operating room. At this time, Huamin had already taken the anesthetic prepared before the cesarean section and was a little dizzy. Honey, I'm here. Don't be afraid. Qin Chu held Huamin's hand tightly. His palms were sweaty. It was obvious that he was even more nervous than Huamin. He had been in the operating room countless times. When he was in the United States, he often performed surgeries with the professor. After returning to China, he often went to the hospital. Even if it was a matter of life and death, Qin Chu had never been so nervous. It seemed that the saying was true. Even if he was a godly doctor, when it came to his own family, he would still be nervous and tremble. 4 years ago, when the twins were born, he was set up by Wuxia in the United States. Not being able to accompany Huamin had always been his biggest regret. Therefore, after having a second child, he made up his mind that this time, no matter what, he had to be by Huamin's side. He had to be with her to give birth to the babies. Fortunately, everything happened in time. Honey, if anything happens to me... Shut up. Don't talk nonsense. It's just a minor surgery. Relax. Hearing Huamin say such ominous words, Qin Chu was also angry. He rarely scolded Huamin so seriously because he couldn't bear to do it. However, the situation now was different. He was really afraid that something unexpected would happen. Okay, I won't say anything. Then you have to stay with me. I won't leave. I'll stay here. Don't worry. If you're tired, you can take a nap. All right. Huamin smiled. Qin Chu kissed her tired forehead gently. Then, Huamian fell asleep in a daze. The surgery went smoothly. After all, as a doctor, Huamin paid a lot of attention to her diet and nutrition after she became pregnant. However, Qin Chu was still on tenterhooks. Even when Huamin's blood pressure rose a little and her heart rate increased a little, he wanted to do it himself. This was probably the largest cesarean section in the history of Southside. The 2 directors of the obstetrics and gynecology department, for doctors, and 9 nurses were all present. Even 2 anesthesiologists were present. They were the best in the hospital. Actually, it was just giving birth. However, Huamin usually took care of everyone. Therefore, they were very popular. Everyone volunteered to perform the surgery for Director Hua. There was even a group of people cheering at the door. Other than the people from the hospital, Yixin, Bella, Yang Miram, Lady Su, the twins, Qin Chu's parents, Tang Chuan, Qin Ning, Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling, Jiang Xiaowei, and Wei Liao were all present. Other than Cici, who was about to give birth, who was forced to rest in the ward, and Rick, who was still on the plane back to China, everyone was present. In the operating room, the moment the baby was carried out, he cried. Qin Chu felt that at that moment, his heart was about to melt. Chapter 45-33. President Qin, congratulations. It's a young master. He weighs 6 pounds and 8 ounces. The chief surgeon carefully placed the baby in Qinchu's arms. He gently took it and looked at the baby who looked like him. He was so touched that he actually cried. "Director, your son is so good-looking. His eyebrows are so thick and his eyes are big." A few chief surgeons whispered into Huamin's ear. She was still conscious. She wanted to say something, but she was a little tired. She only smiled. "Honey, you've worked hard. I'm going to stitch you up now. Hang in there. If you're tired, sleep a little longer." Qinchu carried the child and whispered into Huamin's ear. Huamin nodded slightly and fell asleep again. Then, she saw a patch of grass in front of her. There were white poplars on both sides, like a university campus. The students walked in twos and threes, and from time to time, she would hear laughter. "Little Sister Mion." Suddenly, an extremely familiar voice sounded in her ear. She turned around and was slightly surprised to see the boy in a light pink short-sleeved shirt. "Hua Xiqian." "Little Sister Mion, do you have class in the afternoon? I'll take you to a seafood feast." "You? Aren't you?" Huamin was surprised to see Hua Xiqian again because in Huamin's mind he was already dead. He died for her. Otherwise, Huamin would have died in the explosion. "What? Are you afraid that Ning Ziyuan will be jealous? The coward. I don't know what you see in him. I heard that he went to look for prostitutes with the boys in his dorm when he was a freshman. What kind of taste do you have? Did he give up on himself after breaking up with Qinchu?" Huamin didn't say anything, not because she was angry. It was because this scene was very familiar. When she was in university, Hua Xiqian was already the general manager of the Hua Corporation. He was rich and powerful, and he was trusted by Hua Zhenghai. Therefore, he would go to her school to pick up girls from time to time. Every time he saw her, he would flirt with her. At that time, she thought that Hua Xiqian was just teasing her and embarrassing her. Now that she thought about it, this man might have had other thoughts about her at that time. Seeing that Huamin was silent, Hua Xiqian walked over and approached her. She was wearing Hua Xiqian's cologne, which was indeed Hua Xiqian's style. "Wow, my little sister Mian is so gentle today. Where did your sharp tongue go?" As Hua Xiqian approached, Huamin felt that he was so real. "Don't mess around." Huamin lowered his head, not daring to look into his eyes. She was afraid that she would cry. "It's true. Ning Ziyuan is no good. Don't date him anymore. He has no money and no character. If you marry him, your life will be ruined. I know, I won't marry him. Then marry me. You're Dad's daughter, and I'm Dad's son. When the time comes, the family assets will be ours. Don't let the goodies flow into other people's fields." Ha! Before Huamin could say anything, Hua Xiqian laughed heartily. "Young Master Hua." Not far away, the school bell's tall and slender figure swayed her slender waist as she walked over. Then, she held onto Hua Xiqian's arm. "Young Master Hua, you're so naughty. You're teasing the straight-A student again. Let's go." "Let's go, little sister Mian." "Ha, call me if you need money. Kiss me, and I'll give you 1,000,000 yuan. Before leaving, Hua Xiqian didn't forget to tease Huamin. If it was before, Huamin would have cursed out loud. But now, seeing Hua Xiqian in such a way, she was actually a little touched. "Hua Xiqian," Huamin suddenly shouted at the back of the figure. She suddenly wanted to say something to him. Hua Xiqian turned around and smiled wickedly. Chapter 45-34. Huamin raised his hand, placed it by his mouth, and shouted at Hua Xiqian, or perhaps in front of the entire school. "Hua Xiqian, you look really good in pink." Perhaps he was used to being scolded by Huamin, but he didn't expect Huamin to do something like this. Therefore, at that moment, Hua Xiqian's eyes were filled with shock, surprise, and ecstasy. His smile became even brighter. Then, he turned around and hugged the girl with the hot figure. He even playfully turned his back to Huamin and made a V sign. It was great to see Hua Xiqian again in this way. It was great to be able to exchange a few words with him. Then the scene changed again. It became winter. It was the season of snowflakes. When Huamin opened his eyes, he realized that he was on a snow-covered street. As for himself, he was wearing a short red down jacket. He was chubby and looked like a koala bear. In the north, Girls especially liked to wear fur in winter. Firstly, it looked good. Secondly, it kept them warm. Huamin was the type of person who rejected fur. Therefore, all these years, he had the habit of wearing down jackets. Because of this, Su Yu even laughed at him for looking like a silly roe deer. While he was in a daze, Su Yu jumped down the wall. "Little girl," I patted Huamin's shoulder. "Where's my birthday present?" When Huamin saw Su Yu, he was ecstatic. Before Su Yu could say anything, he grabbed Su Yu's hand. This was the first time that Su Yu saw Huamin being so proactive. He was also dumbfounded. He looked at his hand, then at Huamin. "What's going on?" "Su Yu, come with me. Come back with me." "Go back where?" Su Yu was confused again. "Come back to the real world with me." "Silly girl, did you have a fever? Don't play dumb with me. Hurry up and take it out." "Where's my birthday present?" Huamin was confused. "Birthday present?" "Yeah, today's my birthday. I asked you for a red packet on WeChat this morning, but you ignored me. But I still believe that you didn't come empty-handed. Hurry up and take it out." Su Yu urged her for a birthday present. Huamin looked around. They were outside the walls of Su Yu's private mansion. She suddenly remembered what happened a few years ago, on Su's birthday. He remembered that Zhao Qingya's younger sister, Zhao Xia, committed suicide by jumping off a building in her private mansion to frame Su Yu. Because of this, Su Yu was sued and almost charged with murder. Huamin didn't care about her image and proved that Su Yu wasn't there. However, it made Qin Chu jealous. How long had it been? Huamin never expected this. "Are you stupid?" Su Yu lowered her head and leaned close to Huamin's face. Her white Versace long sleeve was clearly visible. "Su Yu, happy birthday." Huamin closed her eyes and kissed Su Yu on the left side of her forehead at lightning speed. Su Yu was instantly petrified. Huamin knew that Su Yu had always known how he felt about her. However, she was helpless. Because she had someone she loved, she couldn't give Su Yu a single cent. However, Su Yu didn't give up just because she didn't respond. Instead, he stayed by her side to protect her. All these years, the only person Huamin owed was Su Yu. Therefore, today, she didn't know if it was a dream or something, but she actually saw Su Yu again. Thus, she made a bold move. Su Yu was really dumbfounded. Did Huamin just kiss him? He was stunned. Then, he reached out and touched his face. Su Yu wanted to say something, but he realized that he was so excited that he couldn't speak. "Do you like this gift?" Huamin asked him. Chapter 45-35. Mian. Su Yu, I just gave birth to a baby. Qingguagua, baby? Su Yu was dumbfounded again. "Yes, this is my third child after Pudding and Little Bean. Master Lord Su named him Qin Yuyao." "Mian, what are you talking about? You're not even pregnant, how can you have a child?" Su Yu looked at her in amusement. Huamin didn't explain. "They're having a party inside. Tang Chuan and the others are all there. Do you want to go in and have a drink?" Su Yu smiled. "I'm not going. Don't drink too much. It's not good for your health." "When did you start caring about me? Aren't you afraid that Qin Chu will be jealous?" Huamin put his hands into the pockets of his down jacket. "Su Yu, Qin Chu and I miss you very much. We all miss you very much. You're talking nonsense again. Dr. Hua, I wonder if you're possessed by a ghost today. I should put a talisman on your forehead. Heavenly spirits, earthly spirits." Su Yu was naughty again. Huamin was already crying. "Oh, why are you crying? I'm just teasing you. You're not possessed by a ghost, huh? Don't be afraid." Su Yu panicked when he saw her crying. "Su Yu, I really miss you." Su Yu's body trembled. He opened his mouth and was about to speak. His figure became more and more blurry. Su Yu, Huamin called Su Yu's name and woke up again. Then she saw the familiar ceiling. This was the VIP ward of Southside Recuperation Center. Qin Chu hurried over and held her hand. "I'm here. Honey." Huamin was just about to say that she dreamed of Su Yu, but when she saw Qin Chu's haggard appearance, she couldn't bear to say it. Hence, she changed it to, "Hubby, where's the child?" "The kids went to take a shower. I'll bring them back later. Why don't you go with them? You might get carried away. Chu smiled faintly. No, Mom and Dad went with them. How are you? Are you tired? Does your wound hurt? Min shook his head. Hubby, is he cute? Yes, he looks like me. He's very handsome. Min smiled. Shameless. But I think his personality is very similar to yours. You can tell at such a young age? Don't lie to me. Min obviously didn't believe her. It's true. He doesn't like to cry. He only cried a few times when he first came out. After that, he's been very obedient. His eyes are very calm. I think his personality will be more like yours in the future. Where's my mom and Jixin? They went to the swimming pool to accompany the baby. Okay, I'm a forgotten existence. Min was full of jealousy. Don't talk nonsense. You still have hubby. Hubby, where are Pudding and Little Bean? They're with Buyun and Yunchu. Xiaowei and Lingling took them out to eat. Everyone has been waiting for you. They didn't eat much. It's okay for the adults, but the kids are exhausted. Okay. Auntie Sue just came and brought this for the kids. Chu picked up a small box and placed it beside Min's hand. Inside was a longevity lock. It was obviously handmade. It wasn't exquisite, but it looked heartwarming. I heard that Auntie Sue knitted it herself. Thank you for your hard work, Auntie, Min said. Chu hesitated for a moment and continued. Just now, Imperial Star's lawyer came with Su Yu's gift for the kids. Hearing Su Yu's name, Min's heart sank again. Chapter 45-36. Min was extremely grateful that Su Yu had left hundreds of millions of yuan in trust funds for the 3 children. Although he knew that the Qin family was a top financial group and did not lack money, Su Yu still acted like an elder and thought of a way out for the children. Chu handed over a black brocade box inlaid with rich gold. It was square, only a little bigger than the jewelry box that held the rings. Min held it in her hand and hesitated. She did not dare to open anything related to Su Yu. She had just met him in her dream and even talked to him. Now that she had woken up from her dream, it felt like a lifetime had passed. Min felt like she had met Su Yu in her previous life, or a long time ago. You just gave birth and your body is still weak. Why don't you wait a few days? Chu saw that Min was hesitating and did not dare to open the box. He seemed to have guessed what was on her mind, so he persuaded her in a low voice. It's okay. I want to see what Tycoon Su gave my son. Min forced a smile and slowly opened the brocade box. Then, tears welled up in her eyes again. There was no gold, silver, or jewelry inside, nor were there any diamonds or jade, nor were there any land deeds or shares. It was not something valuable, or rather, something that could not be measured by money. It was just an ordinary bullet shell. However, it was plated with a layer of black gold by Su Yu, which made it even more mysterious. Giving a bullet shell to a boy obviously meant that he hoped that he would grow up to be a tough guy. Originally, this was nothing. It was just Su Yu's hope and good wishes for the child. However, Min knew what Su Yu meant. A long time ago, Su Yu had also given her a bullet shell like this. Although the color was different, it had a deep meaning. Su Yu had said that she could take it and look for him anytime. He would do his best to fulfill one of her wishes. At that time, Min had even teased him, asking if he was Aladdin's magic lamp. After Min became pregnant with her second child, she had the following conversation with Su Yu. Mian, if the baby is a boy, I'll give him a bullet shell. What? Min looked at Su Yu. Tell him that as a man, he needs to be upright and dignified. Don't be a sissy. But that's not the main point. The main point is that with this bullet shell, no matter when he finds me, I can fulfill one of his wishes. Here we go again. Are you a bullet shell expert? Why are you giving bullet casings to everyone? Mian laughed. Su Yu, on the other hand, had a serious expression on his face. I'm only this generous to you and your son. Then, Min stopped smiling and fell silent. Yes, she knew in her heart that Su Yu was only good to her and her child. Now that she held the bullet shell in her hand, Min felt that it was heavy. Even if the child grew up and held the bullet shell, he would never be able to find Suyu again. Right now, Suyu could no longer fulfill this kid's wishes because he was already asleep. Mion, you can't cry during your confinement. It's bad for your eyes. Chu quickly stood up and wiped away Huamin's tears. Honey, I just saw Suyu in my dream. Huamin smiled with tears in her eyes. Is he doing well? There was no jealousy on Chu's face, nor did he feel awkward. Instead, he asked very naturally. Amichim, he's doing very well. He's still the same, and that's good. I believe that Suyu's character and kindness over the years will definitely be rewarded. What we need to do now is quietly wait for him to come back, okay? Chu coaxed Huamin like he was coaxing a child. Chapter 45-37. Will he come back? Huamin asked Chu with uncertainty. I think so. I believe in Suyu's character. Chu wasn't a Buddhist, but he believed in karma. If one did too many bad things, they would be punished. If one did too many good things, they would also be rewarded. Although Suyu was a spoiled brat who could do whatever he wanted, he had never done anything outrageous. Especially after meeting Huamin, he became extremely kind. Chu felt that God wouldn't treat a kind person harshly, of course. This was just his personal opinion. After chatting with Chu for a while, 2 nurses came in with dinner, giggling. Director, it's time for dinner. Mr. Director, you look great today. Many people look haggard at night after surgery. As soon as the 2 nurses entered, the ward became much livelier. Huamin smiled slightly. It's not my first child, I'm not that delicate. Director, this is dinner specially prepared by the chef in the cafeteria. There's blackfish tofu soup for nourishing the body, 2 pieces of tax refund cake, red date millet porridge, stir-fried vegetables, and a dessert, blueberry cheesecake. No need for special treatment. Thank you for your hard work. It's not hard at all. Director, it's a joyous occasion to have a baby. Speaking of which, the young master is so handsome. When he was swimming, many people were watching. Honey, help me up. The incision isn't good. Lie down and don't move. I'll raise the bed for you and feed you. Seeing that the couple was about to show off their love again, the nurse left. Chu carefully raised the bed, put the pillow behind her, and fed her. Halfway through the meal, everyone returned in a grandiose manner, hugging her newborn son. Me, how do you feel? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Mama Chin asked. Mom, I'm fine. Mion, does it hurt? Yang Merong walked up and held her daughter's hand. Mom, it doesn't hurt anymore. The anesthetic might still be in effect. I'm fine. Don't worry. Sister-in-law, look at your son. He's so young, but he already knows how to flirt with girls. He just went for a swim and kept giggling at the pretty nurse. After speaking, Qin Ning carried the child and handed it over. Qin Chu took the baby and showed it to Huamin. When he was born, Huamin was still dizzy, so he didn't take a good look at the little guy. Now, he could finally take a good look. Sure enough, his eyebrows were exactly the same as Qin Chu's. He couldn't help but sigh at the strength of genes. Mian, look, this kid looks like Chu, doesn't she? Mr. Qin was obviously very happy. Although he had always felt that having a granddaughter was already very good and perfect. But now that she had given birth to a second child, the Qin family was still in a state of jubilation. Even Qin Ning's father was so happy that he booked a plane ticket to fly back from America to see his grandson. Everyone stayed for a while. Seeing that Huamin was a little tired, they left one after another. Pudding and Little Bean were brought back to South Hill Manor by their grandparents. The newborn and Huamin stayed at the hospital. At around 7 p.m., Lady Su arrived alone. She only brought a bodyguard with her and was very low-key. She wore a coffee-colored wool coat and a classic Hepburn hat, looking very ladylike. In her hand was a medium-sized thermos flask. Qin Chu quickly stood up. Mrs. Su. Chapter 45-38. I'm here to see Mion. Auntie. Huamin was about to get up. However, Lady Su stopped him. Silly boy, lie down. Don't move around, don't hurt yourself. Huamin smiled and leaned against the headboard quietly. I made some tonics for you at home. Mr. Su and Lord Su were going to come, but they heard that you're still in confinement. It's not good for men to come. Mr. Su is very superstitious, so he said he'd leave for a while and come see you when you're discharged. They're all elders, don't treat me like this. When I'm out of confinement, I'll take the child to see them. Huamin was a bit flattered. It seemed like she would never be able to repay the Su family's kindness in this lifetime. What are you talking about? We're family. Here, eat the bird's nest while it's hot. Lady Su took out the tonics and watched Huamin eat while chatting with her calmly. The two of them never talked about Suyu. Suyu seemed to have become a taboo in the Su family. Once it was mentioned, everyone in the Su family would be heartbroken. After Lady Su left, Qin Chu went downstairs to see her off. Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling came in to see Huamin. Director Wu, you've worked hard today. Zhu Lingling touched Huamin's head and joked with her. You two have to hurry up. I'm having my second child. You two have to give birth too. We'll never be able to catch up to you in this lifetime. Our genes are too good. Jiang Xiaowei laughed. Have you given the child a nickname? I heard it's called Qin Guogua. Zhu Lingling laughed. Huamin was speechless. Ms. Zhu Lingling, who told you that? Your daughter is my daughter-in-law. Zhu Lingling said matter-of-factly. So my little bean has become a professional hater. Huamin said helplessly. Qin Guogua is a good name. It's easy to raise. Zhu Lingling continued to tease. Then why don't you call Gaobui, Ergo, or Tai Dan? That would make him easier to raise. Huamin rolled his eyes. Jiang Xiaowei laughed out loud as she watched the two women fight. All right, I won't joke around with you all. I have a matter that I would like to ask your opinions on. After joking around, Huamin stopped smiling and put on a serious face. What's the matter? Why are you so serious? Jiang Xiaowei moved a small stool and sat beside Huamin's bed. Zhu Lingling put her arms around Jiang Xiaowei's neck and leaned on her shoulder. The three women were indeed best friends and could talk about anything. Huamin dared to talk to them about things that he didn't want to talk to Qin Chu about. I want to give my son to the Su family for adoption. Huamin's words were like a sudden clap of thunder. Zhu Lingling and Jiang Xiaowei were both shocked. Mian, are you crazy? You carried him for 10 months and gave birth to him. He's not a surrogate. You want to give your child to someone else? Zhu Lingling was agitated. Qin Chu won't agree, right? Jiang Xiaowei also thought it was inappropriate. I'll persuade him. My husband listens to me. Huamin lowered her head and said in a low voice. Woman, you're too impulsive. I know you feel guilty about the Su family, but you can't joke about this, Zhu Lingling asked her. I'm not joking. I've been thinking about this for days. No, I don't agree. It's not easy for you to give birth to this child. You're 30 years old and don't even have a son. Now that you finally have one, you have to give it away. Zhu Lingling waved her hand, feeling sorry for Huamin. Jiang Xiaowei glanced at Huamin and tried to persuade her. I think Lord Su won't agree to this either. Mrs. Su suggested that Su have a child with Han Yueyao, but he refused. What will the Su family think if you give the child to him? They're not the type to take advantage of others. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.